Sergeant. Ah, here.
Thank you.
And here's a health to you.
God bless.
And had you been corresponding lately with the doctor?
No, I haven't heard from him for quite a while.
That's better. And he was your oldest friend, you say?
Well, one of them. We were inseparable in the old days, Hugh and I, and a man called Curtis Lark.
Curtis Lark? That's rather a quaint name.
Rather a quaint man, I suppose. American, of course. The three of us were together at the same hospital. You're not free from aircraft noise even up here, Mr. Schooler.
Oh, a helicopter from the Naval Training Station. It's not usual for them to fly so low. Since you were at the same hospital, I take it you are also a medical man?
Yes.
Should I not be addressing you as Dr. Cornelius, then?
No, I'm a surgeon.
Hey, you'd be a specialist of some sort.
Oh, yes, I'm a brain surgeon. Didn't Hugh have a housekeeper?
Molly Kyle, aye. Oh, a fine woman. She was at the service.
Do you think she'd mind if I went up to the house?
I'm sure she'd expect it. Why not now? Before it gets dark. I'd be glad to walk you over there myself.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Minister.
Come along then, Mr. Cornelius. Oh, if you could just wait a moment, I'd better tell Mary we're going out.
Certainly. I'll be outside stretching my legs.
Half past. 2 minutes slow. What the devil?
Oh, no. Oh, please, no.
My poor child, what is the matter?
She's calling them. She's calling them again.
Calling who, my dear?
The Fellowship. She's calling them away from the fire. Oh, stop her. Stop her or they'll die too.
Who will die?
Who will die? You will.
Come here, my dear. What is your name?
Laura! Laura, come inside at once.
Oh, no, Minister. I'm all right. I'm not hearing her voice. I'm not.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cornelius. I hope Laura wasn't bothering you. This seems to be one of her bad days.
What's wrong with her?
Sick in the head, I'm afraid. Mental disorientation, the doctor called it.
Is she receiving any treatment?
Prayer and faith in the Lord is the best possible treatment, Mr. Cornelius. Many of the young folk on Luig come here, troubled in spirit, and within a year or so, they're completely cured. That's why their parents send them to me.
Really? Are you a faith healer, then?
No, Mr. Cornelius, I am just the shepherd to my flock. Now, shall we walk across to the doctor's house?
Please.
It's just a few minutes over the headland. This is Drochna Head, Mr. Cornelius.
Was it here that Hugh fell?
Down on those rocks.
Seems rather a long way to have strayed from the path.
24 feet, according to the coroner.
He must have walked this way hundreds of times. You'd have thought that...
It was quite a fog we had that night.
Even so, the path here is worn to the bare rock. But the moment you stray towards the edge, it's all grass, thick grass.
He was drunk, Mr. Cornelius. It wasn't said at the inquest, of course, but everyone here is of the opinion that poor Dr. Dexter had taken a drop too much that night.
That doesn't sound a bit like Hugh.
Hey, wait, what's that?
What, where?
Down there on the beach. You see?
Oh, yes, there is someone down there.
He's taking the cliff path up towards the doctor's house. Come along. We'll no doubt run into him further along. Here we are.
Much bigger than I expected.
This was his surgery, a dispensary, and the living quarters as well.
Oh, hello, Minister.
Hello, Molly. This is Mrs. Kyle.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Kyle.
Good afternoon.
This is Mr. Cornelius, Molly. He was a friend of the doctor's.
Oh, aye.
Hello there. What?
And who is this now?
Good Lord, it's Curtis Lark. Where on earth did he spring from?
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm fine, but how did you get here?
By passenger jet, private charter plane, and finally by one of your Royal Navy's helicopters. Am I in time?
Not for Hugh's funeral, if that's what you mean.
Well, I did try, but I was in wildest Borneo when I got the news.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me introduce you. Professor Curtis Lark, the minister, the Reverend Donald Schooler.
Professor.
And Mrs. Kyle, Hugh's housekeeper.
Hello.
Will you not come inside, gentlemen?
Thank you. After you, John.
Go straight into the study, if you would.
If you would excuse me, Molly.
Aye. You'll be wanting to get back for the fellowship meeting.
Fellowship?
The Fellowship of the Kirk.
Oh. I'll see you later then, Minister.
Aye, back at the manse. Good day to you, Professor.
A bientôt, Minister.
Early Edwardian walnut. Hardly Hugh's taste, I would have thought.
If it's the furniture you're talking about, he bought it with the practice. It used to belong to old Dr. Mingus before. There's a picture over here that you'll maybe recognise.
Oh, yes, the class photograph.
I think you're both there on it somewhere.
Second row left with Hugh standing between us.
I can still remember the day when it was taken. Oh, was it really 20 years ago?
No, it was nearer 30.
Oh, my goodness. Well, all things considered, we still look remarkably young.
All things considered, Curtis, you probably need glasses.
Oh, we're none of us getting any younger, sir.
Mrs. Kyle, did the doctor ever wear glasses?
Aye. He had a pair made last year. Just for reading, you know.
What time was it when the doctor went out last Friday?
I wasn't here that night, sir. I was over to the mainland to visit relatives.
Oh, I see. So you wouldn't know if he had been drinking at all?
No, sir. I'm afraid not.
Uh-huh.
Can I get you gentlemen something to eat?
Oh, that's an excellent idea. I had breakfast somewhere, but I've quite forgotten where or even when it was.
You must be starved. I'll away to see to it now.
Oh, thank you. You're most kind. Oh, dear John, I can't tell you how glad I am to see you again.
My dear fellow, I'm glad to see you too, and surprised.
Surprised?
I'm astonished. It's less than a week since Hugh's death was announced. It's quite incredible that you managed to get here from, where was it? The wilds of Borneo?
John, I wasn't in Borneo.
Oh?
No, that was just for the minister's benefit.
Ah.
I'd left Borneo 2 days before on my way here. And when I heard the news of Hugh's death, I was actually making a stopover in Sydney, Australia. You see, I received this letter from Hugh. Look, you'd better read it here.
Thank you. My dear Curtis, please read this scribble indulgently, because it's extremely difficult for an island vegetable like me to keep a steady leaf between lines, eh? Well, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, yes, it does. Don't you remember that silly code we devised when we suspected that horse-faced matron of opening our mail?
Oh, good Lord, yes. Let me see now. First two, wasn't it?
Right.
First two and last two words in every sentence.
That's right. Now you try it again.
I know. Please read the last two between lines.
Right.
A terrible danger here. You must help me.
Message ends.
A terrible danger here. It's as though he knew he was going to die.
And who was going to kill him?
You can't be serious.
Well, he obviously thought his mail was being intercepted.
You can't suspect the postman.
I don't even know the postman.
Well, then.
And I hardly know Mrs. Kyle any better.
Oh, now that's preposterous.
Well, someone was checking Hugh's mail.
It doesn't follow that they killed him, or indeed that anyone killed him.
John, I found this pair of glasses on the beach.
Show them to me.
They're reading glasses.
Oh, I can see that, but they're not necessarily Hugh's.
Well, they were just about where his body would have been.
Well, surely they would have been in a case.
Hugh certainly had a case for them, John. Look, it's right there on the desk. Empty.
Well, it still doesn't prove anything.
Not in a court of law, perhaps. But it's proof enough for me. You can't really believe that Hugh, or anyone else for that matter, would walk along a dangerous cliff top at night in thick fog with a pair of reading glasses stuck on his nose. It's just not possible.
According to the minister, the general opinion is that Hugh was drunk that night.
John, that's...